Okay, all right, it's settled. You've decided. You want to be a mushroom farmer. You poor, poor soul. Just kidding. It's not that bad. But I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that I liked, and certainly wouldn't recommend it to anybody who thinks they're going to make any money within the first 3 or 4 years. Good luck. Because it really is a skill with a pretty steep learning curve, and there's a lot going on at once, and all it takes is one thing going wrong to kind of wreck the whole thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it. But more specifically, the reason why I wouldn't recommend getting started here in 2023. Now, I've been doing this since 2018. Back when I started, materials were so much cheaper. All of this nonsense, war overseas, sanctions, whatever the hell it is, has caused prices to skyrocket. I remember clearly, I used to be able to go and buy a 50-pound bag of whole oats, which is the grain that I prefer most to use for my spawn. I used to be able to go and buy a 50-pound bag of whole oats for $7.99. 6 years later, that same bag at the same store in the same location is now $26 just for one. So if I go in there and I need to buy 10 of them, I used to be able to walk out of their tax tag and title for less than $100. Now, go to buy 10 of them, by the time you pay tax on that and everything else, dude, it's like $300. So your processes better be on point, and there's really not that much room for profit margin. Anybody who's trying to be a mushroom farmer and had any sort of commercial success in 2023 is going to need to be extremely creative and very intrepid. So, I mean, the materials is one thing. The other thing is there's a lot more to it than you think going into it. Here goes that kind of whole Dunning-Kruger effect where when you first start, I mean, you know everything. Nobody can tell you anything. Then after you've done it for 5 years or something, it's like, man, I don't know anything. Still to this day. But there's a lot going on, and depending on how you set up your operation, which there's 100 different ways to skin that particular cat. You've got, I mean, really at this stage in the game, if I didn't have a bunch of other people, like my suppliers, who were on their game, I mean, it would just throw everything off. And it's difficult. It's difficult to kind of manage all of the ordering. I mean, we're always out of something. Sometimes we're out of something, can't do anything for a week because we're waiting on it. So it's not easy. I thought it was going to be fun and easy. It's not. It's rather difficult, or it can be, or it was for a long time, until I kind of figured it out. So I don't mean to turn anybody off or turn anybody away from it, but I mean, my personal opinion, if you're asking me if I'd recommend it, I wouldn't. If I wasn't already set up the way that I am, there's no way that I could do this. I mean, especially not with everything I got going on now, kids running around and everything else. I mean, back then, I was just, a 20-something, a punk ass, basically, and didn't have any kids and didn't really have many responsibilities. I had rent to pay. I had my own place and all that, but yeah, it's funny how things change. But anyway, I mean, years ago, I'd have said go for it. Now, you need to crunch your numbers. You need to be real sure, and you need to be real good at it before you go sinking a bunch of money into it. I can't tell you how many times, especially early on, when I'd sink my last penny into getting another run of blocks made, and everything contaminates. Don't know what the heck I'm going to do. And I have scraped by the skin of my teeth so many times. And there's so many times when I wonder how in the heck I ever made it, or if something wasn't looking out for me. But yeah, it's not what you think it is. And then the other thing is, okay, you might be the best producer in the world. You might, no contamination, you have great yields. Then you have to find somebody to sell these things to. Or you have to hire people who will kind of broker them or sell them or find distributors. Then you need to figure out who you're going to sell to and what your market is. And there's so much more into it than people give it credit for. But if after hearing all this you're still gung-ho and ready to go, wish you the best of luck. It's going to be expensive. But hey, you might be able to make it. Everybody told me that I couldn't make it. Or that it wasn't the right time, or that, all this other nonsense. So if it's what you really want, you'll find a way to make it work. But I wouldn't recommend this lightly. Especially not at this scale that we're at now. Just trying to figure out a way to get rid of the waste is quite trying. So